Dear students, we shall continue chapter 3. Let's regain our fields. Today we shall discuss about fertilizers, then pesticides, and also we shall discuss about integrated pest management, and finally we shall discuss about sustainable agriculture. First, we shall learn about fertilizers. So, fertilizers are the substances that contain some essential elements. We already studied in last class about essential elements which is required for the growth of plant. Are you remembering that? Okay. So this fertilizers contain those essential elements which is required for the growth of plant. So if we add fertilizers to the soil or to the tissues of plant, the plants can take the essential elements and it can grow well. So if we add it into the soil becomes fertile, and so that the plants can take the essential elements from the soil for its growth. So the fertilizers are of different types. So here you can see organic fertilizers are there, then inorganic fertilizers, and also microbial fertilizers. So what do you mean by organic fertilizers? Organic fertilizers, from the name itself we can understand that these are the fertilizers that are naturally prepared, or we can say it is prepared from the animal waste or dead and decayed animals or plants, or from the excretory waste of animals. For example, cow dung is an organic fertilizer. So if we add cow dung to the plants, the soil becomes fertile so that the plants can grow well. Then what about inorganic fertilizers? From the name itself we can understand that inorganic means it is not organic. It is artificially prepared in the laboratories by adding some chemicals. So inorganic fertilizers are the substances which are artificially prepared by adding some chemicals. And this inorganic fertilizers also helps in the growth of plant. Then example for inorganic fertilizer, which include potash, is an example for inorganic fertilizer. Then NPK mixture is also an example for inorganic fertilizer. NPK mixture means nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. NPK mixture is an example of inorganic fertilizer, and NPK, the full form of NPK is nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. Then what about microbial fertilizer? Microbial fertilizer are the substances that contain microbes. So we already studied in the beginning of this chapter that microbes helps to improve the soil fertility. So microbial fertilizer is a fertilizer which contain microorganisms like rhizobium, acetobacter, then azolla. So all these bacteria or all these microorganisms helps to improve the soil fertility. So if we are using microbial fertilizers in our soil for improving its fertility, we need to make sure that we are not adding any chemical fertilizer in the soil. So if we add chemical fertilizer in the soil which contain microbes, it will kill the microbes. And also we should provide proper irrigation. Proper irrigation means proper watering should be provided. Otherwise the microorganisms present in microbial fertilizer cannot survive in that soil. Using of organic fertilizers are always good for improving the quality of soil and also for the growth of plants. But if we are using chemical fertilizers in an excessive amount, what happens is it creates some problems. So let us find out what are those problems. First, it affects the composition of soil. So if we are using chemical fertilizers in an excessive quantity, it affects the composition of soil, which means it increases the quantity or the acid content of the soil. So this reduces the fertility of soil and also it affects the growth of plant and it may lead to crop loss. And the second problem is microorganisms in the soil. So if we are using excess amount of chemical fertilizers in the soil, it affects the life of microorganisms. So we already know that microorganisms helps to improve the fertility of soil naturally. So if we use chemical fertilizers, it is harmful for the useful microorganisms in the soil. And then the next problem is health issues. So health issues which is related to human beings. If we are using excess amount of chemical fertilizers, it may affect our several organs, several important organs which include heart, kidney, liver, all these organs. So it may also can cause cancer. And then it is financial factors. So these chemical fertilizers are very costly. So if a farmer is buying a huge amount of chemical fertilizers from the market by spending a lot of money, and if he is not getting such a profit from his crops, whether it leads to a benefit? No, he will be having a great money loss from that agriculture or from that farming, isn't it? So this also affects, if you are using a huge quantity of chemical fertilizers, it also creates a financial crisis or a financial problem. Okay children, now look at this picture. Here you can see some insects and some worms which destroys our crop, isn't it? Have you seen such insects and worms which destroys our crops? So these insects and worms which destroys our crops are known as pests. So we are using pesticides for killing this pest. So pesticides are the substances which are used to kill the pest. So these pesticides are of two types: organic pesticides and inorganic pesticides. So what do you mean by organic pesticide? From the name itself we can understand that organic pesticides are the substances which are, or the pesticides which are prepared from naturally occurring substances. So for example, onion garlic spray is an example for organic pesticide. And I hope you are remembering about tobacco decoction which you have studied in 7th standard, and also neem cake. These are also the examples for organic pesticides. Then what about inorganic pesticides? From the name itself we can understand that inorganic pesticides are prepared artificially in the laboratory by using some chemical substances. So for example, endosulfan is a chemical or inorganic pesticide, and also DDT is an example of inorganic pesticide. So what are the problems that may cause if we use excess amount of inorganic pesticides in our field, such as endosulfan? We are already familiar with the problems associated with that in news reports and all. So what are the problems? It affects the health of human beings. So we know that it affects the respiratory organ. So here you can see the pictures associated with the problems by the excessive usage of inorganic pesticides like endosulfan. So see this picture, it is really dangerous. Then what are the other dangers associated with this? If we are continuously using chemical pesticides or inorganic pesticides in our field, what happens is the pest, we already studied that pests are the organisms or insects or worms that destroy the crops. They are known as pests. So the pest will acquire resistance against this chemical pesticides. So for next time we need to add more quantity of pesticides to kill that pest. And for the next time the pest will again acquire resistance, and again we need to add more and more quantity of pesticide in our field. So if we are using just like this, what happens is it affects the health of human beings, and also it affects the life of some predatory insects. So children, instead of using chemical pesticides, we can go for a new method, and that is integrated pest management. This is a very important topic in this chapter, adopting integrated pest management. Then what is the speciality of integrated pest management? The basic principle of integrated pest management is to limit the number of pests and not to destroy So the basic principle of integrated pest management or IPM is to limit the number of pests and not to destroy the pest completely. So in integrated pest management, we are not destroying the pest completely, but we are only reducing its number. So how can we reduce the number without destroying it completely? The chemical pesticides are destroying the pest completely. So instead of using chemical pesticides, we can use organic or biopesticides instead of chemical pesticides. So this will only reduce the number of pests or limit the number of pests, but will not destroy the pest completely. So this type of method is good for our crops, and it is also good for our soil, and it is good for our environment, and also good for the health of human beings. Finally, we shall discuss about sustainable agriculture. This is also a very important topic in this chapter. So we know that this earth is not only for us or not only for this generation. It is also for the coming generation or next generation. So for next generation, we need to conserve our earth. We should not be selfish towards this earth. We need to conserve the earth for next generation. Then only they can enjoy in this earth, isn't it? So for that, we need to adopt sustainable methods in all sectors. So in agriculture sector, how can we do a sustainable agriculture? So here are some steps. So the first one is we need to reduce the use of chemical fertilizers and pesticides. So in agriculture, we need to reduce the use of chemical fertilizers or chemical pesticides, and instead of that we can use biopesticides or organic pesticides or organic fertilizers. So if we use organic fertilizers and pesticides, it will not destroy our environment, isn't it? And it will protect our soil, it will protect our crops, and also it is good for, it is not a problem for the health of human beings or animals or insects. But if we are using chemical fertilizers, it reduces the soil fertility, so that the future generation cannot use our soil for cultivating. So we need to protect in this way. And the next step is proper waste management. So we know that there is a huge amount of waste from the agriculture sector also. So we can use, if we are simply depositing this waste on the earth, it will affect the environment, isn't it? So instead of that, we can use this waste materials as biofertilizers. So such method is also good for sustainable agriculture. Then the next method is growing diverse crops. So by growing different variety of crops, it also improves the soil fertility. Instead of growing a single variety of crop, we can go for cultivating different varieties of crops. It improves the soil fertility. Then cultivating native varieties. We can prefer native varieties instead of cultivating the crops from other countries or from other areas. We can cultivate the native varieties. So children, this is a very important topic, and these are some of the steps which we can adopt for sustainable agriculture.